One. Welcome. I'm so excited to share Tinka, who is the founder of Solve My Space, and she lives in Montreal, Quebec, and has two kids. And Tinka, tell us more about your kids and where you live.
Well, Crystal, I'm so excited to talk to you today. I have two kids. They're 10 and 13, and I live in Montreal, Quebec. I've been here for 12 years now, and I'm originally from the US.
Cool. So well, and tell us about your business first before we talk about kind of the transition from being American to Canadian, but tell us about your business.
So my business is called Solve My Space, and I'm a chaos counselor or a house fairy. Some people call me that. And my work is really, oh my gosh, Crystal, sorry. Are you going to edit some parts out or no?
We're just gonna do this. You're great.
Oh,
This is okay.
okay.
We want this to be very natural, so you're awesome.
Okay.
No
Oh my
worries.
goodness. Okay. So my business is called Solve My Space. I'm a chaos counselor. I'm also called a personal trainer for the home or a transformative fairy. And I work directly with people in their homes to help them declutter, organize, and redesign their most personal spaces. Because I believe if you intervene in the home, it's a way of really improving someone's life and their family's life greatly.
I love what you're doing with Solve My Space. It's beautiful, and I've been following you for a long time, Tinka. And so I'm curious about when did you start your business, and what was kind of the path that led up to starting it?
So I started my business 6 years ago and starting my sixth year now. And basically, I came about this in a very roundabout way. I sort of almost liken it to a monkey bar. Like, you sort of go back and forth until you figure out what you really love to do. But briefly, as a child, I lived in 7 countries in 14 years. And so I moved around a lot, and I always loved homes and setting up homes. But then in my education, I went to graduate school for social work and also for public health, because I really loved the idea of helping people in a social, oh, sorry, I'm getting all embarrassed again. Sorry,
Oh,
Grace.
you're doing great. You're doing great.
Oh my goodness, I just get all tongue-tied. Okay.
You're doing great.
But wait, is this going to get edited or no?
I don't think so. We want this to be a conversation. So you
Okay.
keep going. You're doing great.
Okay, so basically, I went to grad school. I worked for 10 years in urban epidemiology, and I worked in emergency management.
Wow.
And I did a lot of counseling and therapy. And I really liked it a lot, but I didn't feel like it was the best fit for me. And then I worked in a number of academic environments, which were stimulating, but I felt that it didn't have that personal, intimate touch. So basically, I realized, since I have always loved design and I've always loved homes, I took the counseling elements of social work and then the project management elements of public health and kind of connected them together to feel that I could do both in people's homes. So it's like design plus counseling plus project management. So that's how I created this job for myself.
Wow. So tell me too, because it sounds like you were working while you had kids, working in those other jobs.
So I
Okay.
was working, I moved to Canada when my son was a year old, and I had been working at a public health institute. And then when I moved to Montreal, we came here. My husband's a professor at McGill. Then I worked at McGill for many years.
Okay, cool. And so then at what point, and I'm guessing, I want to hear from you here, but were your children part of the influence of why you wanted to create your own ladder, like create your own business? How did that look for you?
Yes, I think that was definitely a huge part of creating my own ladder, because while I really loved certain aspects of my job before I started my business, I realized I wasn't truly happy. And I remember I had one student who said to me, would you want your daughter, and she said, my daughter, would you want your daughter to stay in a job that she wasn't happy in?
Mm.
And I sort of thought to myself, oh my gosh, like I'm modeling staying in a job that I'm not happy, and I'm bringing home this energy that really isn't positive at home, because I love to work, and I've always loved the work that I do, but I had gotten to a place where it wasn't the right fit for me. So I think that really wanting to model to my children that work can very much be about something that you love and are passionate about, and that sense of I now love what I do, and I feel like I'm a role model to my kids because they see me loving my job.
That is really cool. That's really inspiring. So you've been doing Solve My Space for 6 years now, and tell me what are some of the things that your kids have observed or maybe shared with you about seeing their mom do her own business? I'd love to hear what some of their reactions have been.
Well, that's such a good question. I think that they see that it's a lot of work for sure, and that it's not sort of, I used to go to an office, come home at the end of the day, and I think that they see that my schedule is flexible, so that they'll see me working on the weekends or at nighttime, but then they also know that when there's an event at the school, they feel like that I'm going to be able to come to it. So I sort of feel like that translates into their sense of mommy's available, but she's also busy. And I don't know if that really makes sense, but I think that they feel the flexibility, like if someone gets sick, it's going to be okay, where before it was so much stress, having both of us outside of the home. I think that they also, my daughter constantly is now starting new businesses. So she's the one who's 10. And so she's always creating new projects. And, she has like 4 websites that she's done. And, she's very creative. And I think that she sees this sense of, I can turn anything into a job. And I think that it affects her that way.
That is so cool. And I mean, with her starting this young, I mean, that's only going to continue those skills and that kind of confidence too. Good for her. That's so cool.
Kristen, actually, there's one little story I want to tell you is that,
yeah.
That there about 3 years ago, along with another entrepreneurial mom in Montreal, we started a mother's group. We call it MEM, MEM, so Montreal Entrepreneurial Moms. And so we meet once a month and everything. And I had a party here, about 2 years ago. And, my daughter was so excited meeting all the different moms and, finding out what they did for their work and everything. And the next morning when I woke up, she has this big whiteboard. And on the whiteboard, she had written the question, who do I want to be when I grow up? And she had written down like 20 different jobs. And I thought, oh my gosh, how inspiring, because she spent the evening with all these entrepreneurial mothers, and that was her take home, which is like, I could do anything. And I thought that was like so beautiful.
That is so beautiful. That's really cool. And I love, like, not only that she like appreciated it and recognized it, but then she went the next step to like write out how it applied to her. And
yes.
And I think, Tinka, you and I both have we have the same passion, that we're really passionate about moms and entrepreneurship. And for you, I'd love to hear your reasons why do you think there's something really special at that intersection?
That I love all these questions. So I think, a few reasons, but I think the one that jumps to mind immediately is I feel there's something about, not always the case, but often as women, I think there's a sense of duty or needing to be a certain kind of person. Does that make, you know what I mean? Like I sort of feel like we follow, we're, do our best, and we listen, all these things. And then I think becoming a mom is a time to really feel like, oh my gosh, who am I? And who do I want to be for myself and for my children? And I think that at that intersection comes that question for your own life as well, of like, what am I doing with my life? And is it meaningful? Is it purposeful? So I feel like often that intersection happens where, like, for me, I never ever thought about starting. I mean, I had thought about it, but not seriously until my children were 4 and 7. So I think that that's something that's really, really interesting about mothers and entrepreneurship.
So as you were talking, and that was so well said, it reminded me, I gave a presentation. It was the day that we launched the momaladder.com, and I presented in this MBA class. I was a guest speaker. So I was so excited to share with them our website and what some of our plans were. And at the end, I had someone say to me, so your mission essentially is you be you for moms. And that I like about wanted to cry because I was so happy that came through and that he got that exactly like you're saying, that there's at that intersection as a mom, like we want to be the best version of ourselves for our kids and also for ourselves. And for me, I feel like there's so much freedom, and it's been so liberating for me to be the creator of my own business or create my own ladder instead of a corporate ladder. And it's just so fun to hear you see a lot of the same connections there. That's really cool.
I love that about you be you. I love that. That's like perfect.
Because it is tricky as a woman, and especially as a mother, that whatever your background is, or your religion, or your race, or whatever it is, like we're all taught these different acceptable roles of what motherhood and womanhood and even professionalism should look like. And for me, I feel like entrepreneurship is a way to say, you know what, I don't belong in a box, and I can be what I want to be, and I can do what I want to do, and I can make it fit my family. And that is so exciting to me.
That's exactly how I feel. I love that. And I think it is true. It's the sense of the freedom that comes from it and the liberation, and also just the possibility of like, oh wow, I can craft like my own life and the lives around me, as opposed to I need to follow a certain path that I just always thought I had to do. So it's almost like a rebirth, you know. It's like you kind of like you get new operating instructions for yourself, or at least you start to make your own operating instructions.
Totally. So we're kind of talking about like the highest point of why entrepreneurship is so awesome, and it really is. But there are some down points too, and I want us to be realistic that there is this roller coaster, and there are definitely some hard parts. So I want to talk a little bit about fear, and about fear for you, Tinka, and how you've overcome some of the fears that you've had in the past 6 years. I'd love to hear what your process is for that.
Well, absolutely. And I do think it's one of those things where, yes, it's completely ebb and flow, where you can have a great month or a great day, and then the next day you feel like your self-esteem is in the drain. You know, you sort of feel like I'm never going to make it, like my business is never going to work, and how am I going to support my family, and why didn't I just stay in my stable job, you know? So I know for sure that that's like a very normal thing that happens. But in terms of fear, I mean, I would say that there's a quote that I love, and it goes along the lines of, the only thing that helps is doing the work. And why I like that is that sense of when you have a fear, like what's going to help is doing that fear, or jumping into it in a way. I don't mean everything, because, but I think that for me, that I found things like marketing, things like self-promotion, or trying new projects like workshops or public speaking or whatever. Like the way to do it is to go for it. I mean, unless you feel so much stress or anxiety about it. You know what I mean? Like I think that for me has been doing it, but also relying on the support. But my husband, oh my goodness, we have logged many hours, talking about being an entrepreneur and how to get over worries and fears. And the other thing is that group I mentioned has been so supportive, because it's a group of about 25 women, and we come together every month, and it's just a really honest, raw, authentic place where, once you voice your fears and you see someone else has something similar or maybe something different, but has come up with a strategy on how to do it, and maybe it's not just always jumping right in, but taking baby steps, or reframing it so that it doesn't become a fear anymore, but it's more of like a possibility. And I think that that's another thing, is really thinking about the language that we use in our challenges. So I feel like that combination of my husband, my friends, the group that I'm in, and also just going for it. Like that's how I address my fears.
I love too, Tinka, that your professional background, I mean, where you have a master's degree in social work, and that's right? I'm pretty sure that's what you
Yes,
said. Yeah.
a
And
master's in
that's
social
right.
and a master's in
Yeah,
public health.
I mean, and public health. Yeah, that you're able to use, I'm sure, a lot of the things that you gained from your academic experience, from your work experience, and then use them now. And I like to say, like, strategize your strengths. Like, you're using your strengths and those different strategies for overcoming fear. And that was really great to hear. I want to hear more and share with us more about Solve My Space. What is it that you do, and tell us the kind of services you offer, and how you can help someone who's listening now.
So with Solve My Space, it's a really customized service, because for me, in social work, a big focus is start where the client is. So always starting where someone is. And I feel like for me, it's really start where your home is, because I think that our home or our homes are really our anchor. And so when that anchor feels unsettled or ungrounded, I feel like it affects everything. So the work that I do is really helping people throughout the lifespan when they feel like their home is unanchored. And so really it's everything from like a birth to an empty nest, to divorce, to loss. It's along the whole end that I help people. And I'm not like a come on in and put everything in little containers and make your house, organized. I mean, I can do those projects as well, but it's really being honest about how your home feels to you and not just how it looks. Because I truly believe that unless you can get into the feeling space of how you want your home to feel, you can't really intervene in the best way. So what I do is sometimes people are so overwhelmed and they have too much stuff. So I'll come in and help them really declutter and pare down. Other people feel like their day-to-day functioning is completely off, and that there are no strategies or solutions for managing just very busy day-to-day life. So I'll work with them to come up with customized solutions. And then other people just feel like their home visually isn't really working, and they want ideas on how to like refresh a living room or a bedroom. And because I really believe in recycling and repurposing what we already have, like a lot of the design comes from being creative in a house, or if they're coming up with affordable solutions. So it's really a service that I work, individually with people on a whole range of projects and range of budgets. And that it is very emotional. Like our homes are very emotional, and they're very intimate. So for me, it's like within 10 minutes, I'm almost hearing someone's life story, because how can you not know these very personal things if you want to intervene in a really meaningful way? So I love what I do because of the people I work with mainly, and it really is a team process to get someone's home to a better place. So I feel like that was kind of a long answer, but just to kind of give you a sense of it's really a personalized service about making your home feel good for you and your family.
That sounds awesome. And I love that you can be there. You really are a chaos counselor. Like it really is a matter of, it's not just clutter, but it's also the emotional baggage that comes with the clutter, and working through, because so many of our memories or our hopes and dreams are tied to our things that we surround ourselves with. And yeah, I think that's so beautiful. So you'd mentioned to me in the past that you're working on an online service that you can offer more broadly. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, I started doing remote sessions. And so what that means is I can really expand my work beyond Montreal and the greater Montreal area. And so what it is that I do Skype sessions, and then I create an action plan for someone in their home. And so basically what it is I sort of think of it as like a DIY plan. Like you feel like your home's not working and you don't know where to start. So I get on Skype, we do initial session, and then I come up with a plan, I send it, and then we do follow-up sessions to make sure that the work is getting done. Because I feel like a lot of times people just need a jump start or a new way of looking at their home, and then some real accountability and a coach to sort of say like, okay, like that pile has been sitting there for 2 years and it's really stressing you out. We need to get through it. So in terms of the service I offer, it's very much of a coaching and DIY plan, but very much it can be, multiple sessions. It can be just 1 or 2 sessions. So it's really, again, what fits someone's needs.
Very cool. And all of this is at your website, solvemyspace.com.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Cool,
Yep.
cool. So I'll definitely be putting that below in the video comments. And we're going to be wrapping up in the next couple minutes, Tinka. But first, I want us to share the journey that it's taken us to have this conversation, because it's kind of hilarious.
I think you should definitely share that story.
So Tinka and I, we met let's see, it's been probably 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And so I'd reached out to her to do one of these See Mama Climb interviews, and then we have had so many different interruptions, like different things that have come up that will have it scheduled. And so I mean, at least once or twice I double booked myself, or I just wasn't looking at my calendar and I completely forgot, and I felt so bad. And then Tinka,
me too. I had like the rabbit scratch my face, and I had a big thing across my face the day before, and I was like, I don't know, Crystal-Lee, I don't mean to be vain, but I just don't think it's going to be so great.
So seriously, it's been like 5 or 6 tries. So I'm so glad that we made this work today.
I know, totally. And I think it's true. What we were saying is that we've gotten to know each other more because of that it didn't work all those times. And I feel really grateful for that having happened. So.
Well, and just the last time that we tried, probably 2 weeks ago or so, we both just laughed and laughed, and she's been so sweet about it, because it's been on both ends, but we were just laughing and laughing because it's just part of life. And especially as moms in business, like, you get busy and things happen, and it just happened. She happened to be my one person that I kept doing it to over and over and over again. I'm like, I'm really not this irresponsible. I'm so sorry.
It always is like that. The one person, it just keeps happening over and over, and then you're like, oh no, but it was all totally good. And I want to say one thing too, is that I am so impressed with you and with Lynette and everything you've already done and accomplished from Mama Ladder, because I love what you're doing, and I just think it's beautiful, and is going to make such a positive impact on so many mothers around the world. And I really am so happy to have learned about you at the beginning, and I can't wait to just see all the evolutions that are going to take place with Mama Ladder. So I know I'm going to grow so much from both of you and just the community that you're creating. And I think it's just, I love it.
Well, thank you. And thank you for just being a friend and a supporter. And I'm so excited for you and what you're doing with Solve My Space, and to see you grow and expand your clientele and be able to help women beyond your city, and men too. But what you're doing is really powerful and important. So thank you for sharing, Tinka. I'm so glad we did this work. So
and Kristen, I wanted to show you one last thing, is that this is my little necklace I wear all the time. Can you see my mama necklace?
Oh, little mama bear.
Yeah, that's my mama necklace. So to all the mamas out there, you're doing an awesome job.
Yeah, do you want to say one last thing to the mamas out there?
Just to say, whoa, it's a journey. It is like nothing that I ever thought. And to love these people like with all your heart, and to be so challenged by them, I think that as much as we can really be honest with each other with how up and down it can be, and just to take care of ourselves. Like, I think for me, that's what I'm always having to remind myself, that by taking care of myself, I'm taking care of everybody else too. And just that it's crazy. It's the best thing and the hardest thing. So that's all I wanted to say.
You're a wise woman. Thank you, Tinka. So check out her website. You've got it down below, Solve My Space. And thanks so much, Tina.
Thank you. Bye, Crystal-Lee.
Bye.